Your teams.
It is Barner. It is Barner, and he's gone.
The Beavers are the national champions.
Brandon, a three-pointer out front. Hit it! Yes, he did!
His take.
Here's what I think.
Matt Bagley. Matt Bagley. Matt Bagley.
The league wants to look at measurables. They can say he throws the strongest, throws the fastest. They project a physical stud. I want to project a quarterback. I want a guy that knows his offense. Guys want to fight. They want to play. They want to scrap for him. I don't see that with Justin Herbert.
Talking local sports.
He's chill. He's quiet. Says the play real soft. And then doesn't run the play. Like, he'll throw to his first option. He'll find Dylan Mitchell. Well, now Dylan Mitchell's in the NFL, so good luck. Where are you going to throw the ball, Justin? I think we need to see him take that mental leap. All the physical stuff is there. Mentally, emotionally, not my number one overall pick.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey everybody, Matt Bagley here, hitting the road tonight, live, Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. Let's have a couple slices. Let's try some of their delicious taps. They got Hop Valley. They got my favorite IPA ever, Hop Valley Bubble Stash on tap. They got 310 barrels on tap. They got a whole lot available for you tonight. And let's have some food. Let's have some drinks. Let's talk some sports. Southern Oregon Sports Talk live here at Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. I want to talk Ducks tonight. Oregon-Stanford is a huge matchup this weekend. I'll tell you my thoughts on that. I want to talk Beavs. And I know they don't have a game this weekend. And I know that Beaver fan will say, Matt, give it a break. Give it a rest. Stop beating up on my orange and black. But I think this is a crucial weekend for Oregon State. They don't have a game. They got a bye, prepping for the Pac-12. We'll talk about that. Talk about what I need to see from Oregon State, what I need to see from Jonathan Smith, and what that program needs to show the world as they have a week to prepare for Pac-12 play. Also want to talk high school football. I will be in Bend on Friday. I will have the game of the week across the state on Friday because North Medford is 2-0 again for the second year in a row. And unlike last year, I think it's for real. Unlike last year where they start 2-0, then they slide and fall into a tailspin. I think North Medford is going to thrive this year, and I think they show you why Friday. I'm getting ahead of myself. Friday night in Bend. I want to talk about that big game at Bend. I want to talk about South Medford's game against Liberty. I want to talk about what Crater has on tap, maybe the game of the state in 5A. They go up against the defending state champs. They go up against reputation and perception and stereotypes in state media. We'll talk about all that and more. Ashland with a big test. There's a whole lot of high school football to talk about tonight. So why not do it right here at Abby's? This place, Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. They fill up on Friday nights. Not so much tonight. So that's why I'm here trying to bring the troops out, if you will. Have some pizza, have some beer, have some fun. Great place for high school football on Friday nights. Right near Spiegelberg Stadium in the south side of Medford. Huge venue. They got enough tables for everybody. They got parking for all your friends. Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside, a hub for high school football. So they brought on yours truly to talk football and high school football tonight on the radio, 4 to 6, right here at Abby's, 1080 South Riverside. Also want to talk NFL tonight, week 3, and I got a lot of things to atone for. Week 2, I told you the Niners would get blown out. I told you the Colts would fizzle, and I got a lot more predictions wrong. But I got some things right. I want to talk about all that tonight and more. My philosophy this week, what I'm thinking, what I'm going to bet, what I'm feeling, all that, and college football. Is the number 1 pick in Eugene, or is it somebody else? I'll talk about that tonight. And Major League Baseball. Yankees vying for a division title tonight. 2 weeks till the wild card. My Athletics, my Green Collars, having a bit of a good stretch, good run of form tonight. We'll talk about all that and more. And NBA. I know it's the heart of the offseason. I know that basketball fan is kicking back, having a pillow under their heads, going, Matt, there's no way. Matt, there's nothing. Matt, what are we talking basketball for tonight? And I'll tell you right now, I got some Rip City news for you. I got some Portland Trailblazer basketball to talk about with you tonight. I'll break that down in a couple of minutes. Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW, tonight live at Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. Come join me. Come talk football. Duck fans, let's start here. I think Oregon is a superior team against Stanford. I think Oregon is more physical than Stanford. I think Oregon has some coaches that will give Stanford fits, some schemes that will give Stanford trouble, but I am concerned about one thing against Stanford. I will share that with you. I also want your take. Text me, let me know, 541-630-4792, or come on down here to Abby's. I got a spare headset. You can pop on the radio with me, and this can be a dream opportunity. I got people that constantly want to call in or text the show or comment on Facebook and say, Matt, you're an idiot. Matt, you're wrong. Matt, you don't know anything about anything. Especially Duck fans. Duck fans think I don't know anything about Oregon football, and they tell me about it. They're open about it. If you're that guy, let me know. Come on down here to Abby's, 1080 South Riverside. We can have a chat right here on the radio. My concern for the Ducks heading into this game, it's not at quarterback. Justin Herbert has done enough to win me over. It's not at coach. Mario Cristobal has proven me wrong. It's not on the defensive side of the ball. Andy Avalos has been phenomenal. And it's not in their physicality. That was where the Ducks got whooped last year. I think they worked really hard. They improved that. They made that better. Where I am concerned is clutchness. And I'll tell you why. I am concerned that there are two kinds of Oregon teams. There are Oregon teams that beat up on inferior opponents. They run up big leads, Nevada, Montana, San Jose State last year, Portland State last year. Look what they did to Oregon State in the Civil War. Look at what they did to Cal in Berkeley last year. And then there's Duck teams that, when the going gets tough, fourth quarter, one-score game, overtime, they just don't have it. We saw that against Auburn this year. I think we saw it against Washington last year. And before you tell me that the Ducks won that game, I agree. The final score, Oregon had the higher one. But the Ducks let Washington march down the field, come back, get into field goal range, and attempt a field goal to win the game. The Ducks should have lost that game. The Ducks were not clutch at the end of that game. I think that's really important. It's a situation where I might be a really good employee. I'll use myself as this example. I might be a really good employee, but I am awful at first impressions. I get nervous. I get shy. Heck, here at Abby's, it's my second week here, so they know me by name. I know them by name. I like this crew, good people, good pizza, good fun. But last week, I was shy. I was nervous, stammering a little bit as I go to shake the hand of the general manager here, shaking the hand of the owner here, and not quite having the gusto to look him in the eye, because that's just me. That's who I am. Or a better example, I have a friend of mine who he's never been pulled over. He's never had any trouble with Johnny Law. For years, practicing for his driver's test. For years, he would fail. Every 3 months, he'd go to the DMV and fail, and fail, and fail. And he got into his 20s, and he got into his mid-20s before he got his driver's license. And eventually, he got it, but it took like 8 tries. And it wasn't that he didn't know how to drive. It wasn't that, he just couldn't read the speed limit, or didn't know how to park, or didn't know how to turn, didn't know how to brake. He knew how to drive. I would ride with him. I couldn't notice a difference. I was comfortable, and I'm a really paranoid rider with people. I was not paranoid with him. I was really safe and secure with him. But every time he would take the test with some nobody at the DMV, no offense if you work there, with somebody that he had never interacted with, someone that he had no history with, he would get really shy and really tense. and in the clutch, he would screw up. And that is Oregon football. That's my fear. If this is a 3-score game, it's not even going to come in. If this is a no-doubt kind of game entering the fourth quarter, then forget this advice. But if Stanford trails by a touchdown or less in that fourth quarter, Stanford's going to win this football game. Because I just don't trust the Ducks in the clutch. I want to hear from you. 541-630-4792. Text me. Let me know what you think. Also, even better, I get people all the time that want to call, and they get mad because I don't take calls. I do not take open phones. I do, however, take open comment tonight. I've got a spare headset. I am on the road here at Abby's. Come on down, get some pizza. Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. They've also got sandwiches. They've got a killer beer tap list. My favorite IPA on the planet, and I'm not an IPA guy, but Hop Valley Bubble Stash is like drinking soda pop. It is incredible. And they call that an IPA. I don't think there's any hops in it. I can't taste it. It just tastes awesome to me. Hop Valley Bubble Stash on tap, 3 10-barrel taps, a whole bunch more. A great deal on domestic pitchers. And a really fun environment for the kids, too. They've got games. They got arcade games. They got coloring books, great pizza, spuds. Whole lot going on. Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. We'll talk about that a little bit more on the show tonight. I'm here till 6. Let's also talk Oregon State. I want to get you revved up and get you prepared for the Beaver bye week and what Oregon State needs to do to catch up with the Pac-12. I also want to talk NFL. And let's start there. Making atones for some mistakes last week. Right here at Abby's last Wednesday, I told you the Niners were going to get drilled. That didn't happen. I told you the Colts were going to get spanked. That didn't happen. And I know why, and I can move on from that, and I can tell you what I think about week 3. Lessons I've learned, applying those, and what I think about the week ahead. I also am going to brag and gloat and pump my fist about some of the picks I got right. That's coming up next right here, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580, The Game.
Abby's has solved that age-old question, pepperoni or Hawaiian. We say, how about both? For over 50 years, Abby's has made the area's best pizza with the freshest ingredients, a lot of them. So we thought, let's use our 2 most popular pizzas to create a half and half special. Half pepperoni, half Hawaiian, 100% delicious. Making great pizza is what we do best and what you like most. So just bring your family and friends over. We'll be sure to make everyone happy. For a limited time, enjoy our Abby's half pepperoni, half Hawaiian pizza with delicious, authentic ingredients piled edge to edge at a special price. So remember, there's always an Abby's nearby, 36 of them. We've been here for generations of families and helped them taste the good life, one slice at a time. And since we don't know what goes best with kale, you'll just have to wait on that half and half special. Abby's, a legendary pizza tradition.
Joe's paving. You drive it, we pave it. Joe here. Yep, we can handle that. We love small jobs. No, we haven't done a lot of local work. We just opened here. That's why we're offering a special. Next week, Tuesday, let me check our schedule. Hey, Bill, call Tom. See if we can borrow his roller and grader next Tuesday.
There are plenty of companies you can call for a local paving job, but there's only one that has an 80-year heritage of local service. That's Knife River Materials. Call today for a competitive bid. When you call, ask for a free copy of their 10 Steps to Quality paving brochure. It covers everything you need to know about getting a quality job, even if you choose someone else. No one can match Knife River Materials' heritage of service to Southern Oregon. If it comes from Knife River, you know it's the best.
Now, we like to get paid in advance. That's not going to be a problem, is it?
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Stay up late with Amy Lawrence.
New Orleans is buzzing. Whether it's the Big Easy that you call it, the Crescent City, whether you go with NOLA, the city that hosts Mardi Gras, the home of Tulane, whatever it is, now it is Zion's Zoo. And it was a zoo as he was introduced to Pelicans fans and media from all over the region.
11 at night, overnight on 96.1, 580 The Game.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1, 580 The Game.
Hey everybody, Matt Bagley back with you live at Abby's Pizza tonight, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. That's 1080 South Riverside in Medford, Abby's Pizza, where I'll be till 6. Gonna have some slices, gonna maybe try a sandwich tonight, try something different tonight, have a little fun as well, and maybe have a sip of something cool on tap when I am off air. I do not drink on shift, but I might have something when I get off. They got some good taps out here at Abby's, 1080 South Riverside. I got a lot of NFL picks wrong last week. I said the Niners, I did not like that matchup going into Cincinnati. Didn't like the chemistry between Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan. Thought the Bengals looked really good week 1. Did not expect them to fall flat week 2. But I got that pick wrong. I thought that the Colts would fizzle out. I thought that there's too much emotional just gravitas into that opening week where you don't have Andrew Luck and you're trying to do everything humanly possible to win without him. I thought the Colts are going to fall apart week 2. Naturally, they upset one of the best teams in the league. I got that pick wrong. Here's what I learned about it. Week 1 is important. But week 1 is one of many factors. You've got teams that had great off seasons that now are in momentum, like New England. They didn't lose anybody. They got more confident on defense. Bill Belichick is calling the plays now, running everything exactly the way he wants it. Tom Brady has that offense fine-tuned exactly the way he wants it. You've got teams that are well coached now. I think about what has happened in L.A., where you could argue, hey, the Rams have a Super Bowl hangover? No, because they got one of the best coaches in football, Sean McVay. You could argue that the Niners, maybe they're not as talented as some of the other teams in the NFC, but they're 2-0 because they have Kyle Shanahan. And you look at the inverse of that, of teams that aren't well coached or haven't had consistent quality training camp. I look at my Oakland Raiders, all the drama there. Well, they got smoked week 2. They weren't communicating on defense. They weren't blocking great on offense, and they get blown out. I look at a team like a Cincinnati that maybe coaching, maybe their new coach there, Zach Callahan, maybe he's not quite ready to coach at the NFL level. I think there's some question marks heading into week 3, and after everything that's gone by in the last 2 weeks, I think this is a really pivotal week for pro football because you really get a sense now, okay, there are good teams that are 500, there are bad teams that are 500, there's probably some good teams that are 0-2. And now you find out, how good are they? Like Jacksonville is a great example of this. Winless, but I think the Jaguars are really good. I think their defense is really strong. Even without Jalen Ramsey, they've got a great defensive line. They get a lot of pressure on their opposition. They've got an offense that has a clear-cut identity. And Gardner Minshew is really accurate. I like Jacksonville this week. That's the Thursday night game. I think the Jaguars could be really surprising against Tennessee, who doesn't quite know who they are yet. And then you've got some other games week 3 I'm really into. I really like the Ravens this week. Going up against Kansas City. That's going to be the game of the week all across the NFL. Lamar versus Mahomes. I'm one of the lucky ones. I drafted Lamar Jackson in fantasy this year, and I watch him on Sundays. I look at it this way. Is he going to play 16 games? No. He's probably going to get hurt along the way. Is he going to lead the Ravens to the Super Bowl? Yeah, probably not. We saw the Chargers, Carson. I almost said San Diego. We saw Carson, the L.A. Chargers, shut them down in the playoffs last year. He's not good enough to win a ring, but just in terms of fun, just in terms of entertainment value, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Now, maybe that's a 1A, 1B with Mahomes. Maybe you see that differently. Maybe you'd rather have Pat Mahomes slinging bombs all across the field. I just love Lamar's speed. I love the ability. We haven't seen it since Michael Vick. The ability of a quarterback to sprint down the field in a 4-3 and weave through defenders. Colin Kaepernick was big. Colin Kaepernick was fast. He had burst. He didn't have the weave like Lamar. The ability to make guys miss like Lamar. The ability to avoid sacks and avoid guys leaping up and grabbing him from behind like Lamar. Just watch that Cardinal tape if you get a chance. If you have NFL Game Pass or you have any way to look back at the highlights of that game and see what I'm talking about. Lamar Jackson is the most entertaining player in football to me, and I think that he gives Baltimore a dimension that makes that a very, very difficult game for the Chiefs. They can stop the pass, but then they got to stop the run, and they can't stop both. I like the Ravens on Sunday. So Jaguars, I think they win on Thursday night. I think the Ravens beat Kansas City. And the other game of note that I have circled down as a game that I really like, and we're going to talk about this a lot more on the show, but even before the Cam Newton news of Cam potentially being out with an injury, I had Arizona. I really like the Cardinals this week. I think that what Cliff Kingsbury is building in the desert, and we'll talk about this more on the show tonight because I think there's some relevant points for both Oregon and Oregon State and for the high school scene. You have a coach that came in with a completely unorthodox style. Every other NFL team wants to zig, he's zagging. Every other NFL team wants to do things the company way that they've done for decades. And Cliff Kingsbury comes in, and he wasn't even a good college football coach. He doesn't know how to do things the right way because he didn't win that way. He's doing things in a completely unorthodox manner, and so far in Arizona, unlike everywhere else we've seen this tried, Steve Spurrier with the Redskins back in the day, or Chip Kelly at Philadelphia, when unorthodox coaches come to the NFL and try to install an unorthodox scheme, the players give up on it. The players don't buy into it. It doesn't get installed the same way an NFL scheme gets installed anywhere else. I think the players in Arizona have bought in. The Cardinals lead the league in tempo, most no huddle of any team in the NFL. They are excelling with air raid concepts where a receiver doesn't just run straight down the field. His route can break at a certain coverage if he has cover 2, or if he has cover 3 or cover 4, or if he has man-to-man, or if he is a great receiver like Larry Fitzgerald and they bracket and double-team him. You can just kind of do whatever you want, right? Air raid route concepts. We're seeing that with the Cardinals, and where I'm most impressed is seeing Kyler Murray. I said on draft night, he can make every throw, he can make every decision. I just didn't know if he could hold up in the pocket, and we've seen that so far. So far, he's not taking hits, not getting beat up, and he looks like a franchise quarterback in the NFL because everything else is there. He's making the right read with the football, and most importantly, he's making the right read pre-snap, audibling out of bad plays, getting them into good plays. Watch the signals. When you look back at Cardinals highlights, watch Murray with the hand signals behind his back. and watch the receivers nod, pick up those signals. Kyler Murray is running that offense like Peyton Manning used to run the Colts. I really like the Cardinals going forward. I think they're going to stun some people, and I think they get their first win of the season this week. And I would say that even if Cam was healthy. I want to hear from you. 541-630-4792. Tell me your take. Let me know what you think. And also talking college football, I haven't got a chance to dive into the Beavs yet, but I want to do that. Bye week for Oregon State. Opportunity for the Orange and Black, I think, to improve on that Cal Poly win. There's still some things I think need tweaking. I do not think this is a team ready to contend for a conference title, obviously. But I think this is a team that if they figured out their questions, if they finally found an identity and fixed a couple other issues, I think they can steal some wins in the Pac-12. We'll talk about what I mean, why I think they can do it, and what teams I think are susceptible to Oregon State. Next, right here, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580, The Game.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to, are you? Kids, work, listening to the radio. You're busy, which is great because busy people can't get prediabetes. Oh my, I read that wrong. They can. Should have worn my glasses. So visit doihaveprediabetes.org and take a short test because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Morning Mayhem with Taz and the Moose.
Hall of Famer Frank Thomas, the hit dog Mo Vaughn, both join us in studio now.
Your opinion, the way the game is moving on, like evolving now, baseball itself, your thoughts?
It's not as funny. And the game has gone to more strikeouts than home runs. I'm a little disappointed because I wish they would get back to getting guys that know how to hit. It's just a different game.
Weekday mornings from 3 to 6 on 96.1 580 The Game.
I perform for our high school choir director, who taught me to breathe from the diaphragm and sing from the heart.
Speech, debate, theater, music. The performing arts teach valuable life lessons that typically aren't taught in the classroom. They help high school students learn leadership skills that prepare them to enjoy more satisfying, productive lives.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Who will you perform for?
This message presented by the Oregon School Activities Association and the high school in your community.
Mothership Madness in the morning with GA.
The NFC North has to play the NFC East and the AFC West. So they were all going to get the Cowboys, Eagles, the Giants, and Washington. So they'll all get the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. All have difficult runs in their schedule because of those opponents when they play other divisions.
Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on 96.1 580 The Game.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
If you don't have dinner plans, I got an idea. Head on down to Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. Heck, if you have dinner plans, these are better than your dinner plans. Pizza pizza, beer, sandwiches. They got spuds. They got great appetizers. They got salads, too. Abby's Pizza, South Medford. That's Abby's at 1080 South Riverside in Medford. And I'm here till 6. We're going to try to make this a weekly thing every Wednesday night, broadcasting the show live at Abby's, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW. Tonight I'm at Abby's Pizza. Talking NFL, talking Ducks, talking high school football as well. I'm so excited for North Medford going to Bend on Friday night. And I'm biased. I hang my bias at the door. That's the expression I always have because I went to North Medford back in the day. So did the love of my life. So did my sister. So did all of our friends growing up. I root for the Black Tornado. I hope that they win, but I really do think they will win on Friday night. I'm excited about that game. I want to tell you why later in the show. Also want to talk about South Medford's big game against Liberty. Got to get into 5A. Crater perhaps playing the game of the state on Friday night. Ashland with a big show me kind of night as well. But I want to spend a couple minutes talking about Oregon State because this is a pivotal moment for the Beavers, for Jonathan Smith. I said last week, if you lose that game to Cal Poly, if you can't beat Cal Poly, then you're not going to beat anybody the rest of the year. The team's going to quit. Jonathan Smith's going to lose his job, yada, yada, yada. And they blow out Cal Poly. So that's not going to happen now. I think that accomplishes a survival task for Oregon State in that they get the monkey off their back and they get the critics to back off for a couple weeks. The next step for Oregon State is Pac-12 football 2 weeks from now. And how close are you to competing in the Pac-12? I don't think the cupboard is empty for Oregon State. I think the Beavers can learn and improve on their opposition here. Let's look at Oregon State's schedule. Here's what I think Oregon State needs to work on going forward. You have a conference opener against Stanford, then UCLA, then Utah. So let's start with those first two games because this really hammers the point home to me. I have said before that the Beavs lack an identity. I think this is a team that they have clear talent at the running back position. They have a quarterback who likes to play a certain way. They have an offensive line that likes to play a certain way, and they don't play them that way. And I think this is an opportunity for Oregon State coming out of the Cal Poly game, seeing what Jake Luton did well. He struck deep passes on play action, seeing what the Oregon State offensive line did well, opening up holes for their runners in the backfield. And I know that they didn't have Jamar Jefferson. Now they get him healthy. Now they have a guy that they can have be their workhorse back this year. I think that should be the identity for Oregon State, and I think that's something Jonathan Smith and the Beavers need to figure out going forward. You know what your strengths are. And I think they've gotten a little too cute trying to hide that, trying to pass the ball and run the spread offense, and on defense trying to match up with these high-octane passing games. I think Oregon State's way to win is by running the ball, grinding the clock, and making the best out of Jamar Jefferson, that offensive line, and Jake Luton in the play action. That's what I would do if I were Oregon State. I would bunker down and work on that stuff. What I meant by getting cute, think of it as a resume. The people are notorious for doing this. My boss and I were having this conversation a while back of somebody is applying for a job as a radio DJ, or someone is applying for a job as a radio salesman. And instead of putting down what they're best at, instead of putting down what their employer wants to see them best at, radio experience, they put down every single thing they've ever done. It would be like me going into a job interview and saying, oh, yeah, well, I was a software engineering major in college, and I worked as a secretary, and I worked as a producer, and I worked as a reporter, and I read updates on the air, and I read commercials, and by the way, I want to do play-by-play. Instead of just leading off with, and I'm also a really good play-by-play guy. And here's my tape, and here's all my fan base and all that. Like, I could just lead off with that. I think that's getting cute. We see people do that all the time in the job market. I think Oregon State is getting cute in their play selection. I think the Beavers need to focus. Look at Oregon. And I know Beaver fans don't want to hear that. I know there's the animosity, and I know there's the big brother, little brother beef. Or maybe Beaver fans don't see it that way. Maybe it's twin siblings that just, you got the evil twin and the good twin, that sort of deal. Marcus Arroyo, for all his faults, he knows what Oregon's identity is. They run the ball. They hit play-action passes. I want to see Oregon State try that in the weeks ahead. I want to see the Beavers come out against Stanford in 2 weeks. A very depleted Stanford team, a very simplified Stanford team, and I want to see them out-physical Stanford. They're not going to try to beat you on the outside. They're not going to try to whip you around in the screen game like Oklahoma State or have 5 wide like Hawaii. This is a team they can punch in the mouth. This is a team Oregon State can outfight, and I want to see that. But you have to call plays that allow that. And that's what I need to see from Oregon State. That's what I hope they work on this week. Building a game plan around Jamar Jefferson on the ground and Jake Luton on the play action. I want to hear from Beaver fan, 541-630-4792. Let me know what you think they need to do. Let me know what you think they should work on over the bye. We'll talk about it next segment. We'll talk about it the rest of my time here at Abby's. I'm here till 6. I'm going to have a great dinner tonight. I implore you, come on down, 1080 South Riverside, and have a great dinner too. Fresh dough, toppings piled to the edge, 100% real cheese. I had a all-meat pizza last week that I got a large all-meat pizza. I brought it home with me. I had seconds the next day. I had seconds the day after that. That pizza fueled me all week. That was awesome. And then I got the spuds to go with it. Those were fantastic. I love spuds. I am that guy. I get spuds or cheese bread pretty much anytime I go out to a pizza place. I love the spuds here at Abby's. Great food. The sandwiches I've heard are off the chain, and I know the beer taps are fantastic. Boneyard, 3 10-barrel taps. And they've got my favorite Hop Valley IPA, Hop Valley Bubble Stash. If you've never had it on tap, you need to try it on tap. Come down here to Abby's. Have some beer, have some slices, have some fun. 1080 South Riverside, south side of Medford. That's where I'm at till 6. Abby's, 1080 South Riverside. Hope you join me. Let's talk some sports. Come on down. I got a headset, and we'll talk about college football. Justin Herbert might be the number 1 overall pick, but I think there's someone else waiting in the wings. I think that the Dolphins are tanking. I think that the Dolphins have a player in mind. I want to talk about that player next. And I also want to look at Major League Baseball. Believe it or not, we got 2 weeks till the postseason. Yankees on the verge of punching their ticket tonight. My A's in a dogfight in a wild card race. Whole lot of baseball to talk about. Let's talk about teams that we like, teams we don't, and our philosophy heading into the postseason. And one more thing. I mentioned the Dolphins and tanking. I want to get to that. I also want to look at high school football. I think that guys like me, so-called experts, got a lot wrong on Friday. We're learning a lot about the high school game, and really, we got to start from ground zero. We got to start from scratch, relearning high school football in Oregon. I'll tell you what I got wrong, what I hope to get right this week, and what we can all learn. That's next right here, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW. Live at Abby's, 1080 South Riverside on 96.1, 580 The Game.
Josh from A Affordable Royal Flush. Most people don't think of me as an expert when it comes to planning weddings and parties, but I'm pretty sure that one of the most overlooked details isn't the chairs, the flowers, or the DJ. It's the portable toilets and hand washing stations. The worst thing you can do is to treat this very necessary detail as an afterthought, or to wait till the last minute only to find out that there aren't any available. My advice? Put us at the top of your list so that this very important detail is taken care of from the get-go. Call today to reserve one or more portable or ADA-compliant restroom and hand washing stations for your next event. Whether it's for a day or a few days, we'll take care of all the details so you can concentrate on the other things on your list. Call us today at 541-772-3389. That's 541-772-3389. A Affordable Royal Flush. A Royal Flush beats a full house anytime.
My husband Buddy and I own Rogue Automotive. It's that time of year when you find out if your AC is working as well as it should. Is the air out of your vents not cold, or is there just no air coming out? If you have an older vehicle and you are having a hard time finding someone that can recharge your system, we have R12 refrigerant and we can get it fixed for you today. Rogue Automotive is at 828 North Central Avenue, and we're open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Rogue Automotive, your family-operated advanced car care center. We do it all.
CPM Real Estate Services, Inc. is the leader in property management services in Southern Oregon. For over 37 years, CPM has specialized in managing residential, commercial, manufactured home parks, homeowners associations, and many storage facilities. CPM Real Estate Services is big enough to know, but small enough to care. Big enough to know the largest selection of residential rentals in the Valley and the most current industry knowledge to manage properties the right way. And small enough to care about your needs as a tenant or property owner. As a full-service real estate company, CPM has cutting-edge technology, a proven system, and the right people to take care of your needs. If you're looking for a home to rent or you need property managed by a professional team, contact the experts at CPM Real Estate Services. With offices in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass, and properties in Klamath County, the coast, and beyond, they know the importance of maximizing the value of your asset and taking care of tenants. Check them out at cpmrealestateservices.com or call 541-773-6400 today.
When you're selling your gun online, your potential buyers might sound safe, but does that mean they really are?
Hi, seller. I'm interested in the 9mm you posted.
I'd love to get my hands on a gun.
In such good condition. Let me know if it's still available.
And we can set up a time to meet.
An email can't tell you what a licensed dealer can. Sell through a licensed dealer to make sure the buyer checks out. Go to ncpc.org to find out how to sell with certainty. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Southern Oregon Sports Talk presented by Medford BMW. I am live at Abby's tonight, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. And I got about 10 minutes till my last segment of hour number one. Let's talk high school football. Let's talk NFL. Let's talk college football and more. I got some thoughts on Oregon State, got some thoughts on the Ducks, and I want to take a little time as well to dive into a story from Friday night, last Friday night. This is something that I hit on in the summer when I was doing my off-season shows, and something that I've talked about from time to time when I cover high school football. I believe that the experts in this state, and I'll name drop them, guys like Andrew Nemec at the Oregonian, I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think that when you read about high school football coverage, and I'm not talking about Chris Henry at the Mail Tribune or Ben Mackey at the Daily Courier, but I am pointing a finger at pretty much everybody else. When you read about high school football in the state, I think pretty much everybody has no idea what they're doing. And a great example of this is a common refrain from, I mentioned Nemec at the Oregonian and others, about how smaller schools can't compete with 6A. 5A versus 6A. And it really hurts a lot of kids here because we have Eagle Point, we have Ashland, we have Crater, and you have the 5A schools in the Eugene area. You've got 5A schools to the east of us. You got 4A and 5A schools on the coast. That these kids all want to compete in college football. They all want scholarships, just like everybody else. But they get laughed at or they get their eyes rolled at by coaches because they believe, well, 5A can't compete with 6A. And I think we saw that narrative collapse on Friday night. Thurston from the Eugene area, taking it to Sheldon, also Eugene area school. And friend of the station, Will Rubin, wrote about it in the Oregonian. He said, hey, Justin Herbert went to Sheldon. They obviously don't have Justin Herbert, but they probably don't need him anymore to contend in their conference. They're going to sweep through everybody. They're going to blow out everybody. And that didn't happen on Friday night. You had a 5A school stick it to the bigger guy and beat up, bully a bigger team. I think it's a statement. I think it's a lesson for everybody here in Oregon that covers high school football. And really big for Crater with their game against Thurston this Friday. Really big for Ashland as they try to build a program, get numbers back in. Really big for Eagle Point as they deal with some transfers and some departures and some change. Anybody can beat anybody. If you work hard enough, if you coach well enough, and if their players are tuned in with their coaches, if the parents buy in, the families buy in to what the coach is trying to preach and what the team is trying to accomplish, I think anybody can beat anybody in Oregon. And I bring that up as well. Crater Thurston this Friday night. This is an opportunity to see a Thurston program that has built things the right way, and now bearing the fruit of that. Number one team in the state in their class, and they just beat a really good 6A team. But I also think that North Medford will bear the fruit of that hard work. I see a program in Steve Turner's Black Tornado that they won 2 games last year right off the bat, and then they lost a bunch of games, and they really struggled to find themselves, and they caught themselves against Grants Pass late in the season and then went on another tailspin. I don't think that happens this year. I think the Black Tornado, with that hard work, with the buy-in from the families of players in that program and the families of coaches in that program, I think the collective buy-in and the work ethic and the effort and the focus heading into this Friday night game against Bend propels them to a 3rd straight win, and I think they go on a run. I really do. I really like this team this year. I think they're going to be exciting to watch on Friday night. They're going to put up a lot of points on Friday night, and I can't wait to watch it in person, live in Bend. Airing the game on the radio right here, 96.1, 580 The Game. South Medford over on our sister station Friday night, News Media, 99.5 FM, 880 AM. I can't wait for that. and then back to Crater Thurston, right? You've got a small town, Springfield, against a bigger town in Eugene. Thurston versus Sheldon last week, and Thurston beats them. You have a 5A school versus a 6A school. That didn't matter for Thurston. They beat them. And now you have a school that is clearly the best in their class going to Central Point and battling a Crater team that has had that buy-in and had that effort and had that patience and focus that you need when you're building a program from the ground up. I'm really excited for Crater Thurston on Friday night. I want to hear from you. What games are you looking forward to? Where are you going to be? What are you going to watch? What are you focused on? Text me. Let me know. 541-630-4792. Or do me one better. Come out here for dinner tonight. Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. I know you're just about to get off work. I know what you're going to do because I do this every single day. When I get off work, I walk to my car, I sit in my driver's seat, and I stare at the dashboard for like 5 minutes wondering where am I going to eat. Because I can cook, but I don't like to. I can cook, but it takes time to cook. It takes effort to cook. It's 6 o'clock or it's 5 o'clock and I just worked a full day, and I'm not saying that I work a blue-collar job like you might, but I get tired when I'm done with work. I want to relax. I want to have a couple beers. I want to have some food. I don't want to worry about burning my food or making the wrong food or taking the effort to cook and clean and do dishes and all that. Just come out to Abby's tonight. 1080 South Riverside, South Medford Abby's. They're going to make dinner for you. Pizza, some great appetizers, some salads, some sandwiches as well. And these beer taps look awesome. Great beer selection. And that is not something you can take for granted with a pizza place, by the way. Not something that you can take for granted with a pizza place. Sometimes it's, hey, we only have domestics. Not the case. Abby's is loaded up on microbrew. They got some great selections for you here tonight. 1080 South Riverside in Medford. Come on down, have a couple beers, have some slices, have some fun. Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. I got a couple minutes left. I have brought up this idea before. Oregon State on a bye. I think that every school in the Pac-12 needs a pitch. Recruits are in college hunting season, and I went through this when I was going to school. I know exactly what they're going through right now. High school kid, 18 years old or 17 years old, senior in high school, looking at their future and wondering, where do I want to spend the jumping off point, the most crucial 4 years of my life? There's a lot that goes into that decision. It's not just, oh, I like the colors of this school, or, oh, I like the football team, or, oh, I connect with the coach, or, oh, I like this professor, or, oh, I like this major, or, oh, I like these dorm rooms. It's a whole array of decisions that go into that choice where a student goes to college. But the schools can really help students with a pitch. You craft it, you refine it, and you throw it out there, and people buy it. And I think Oregon has a pitch, Nike and the facilities. I think Arizona State with Herm Edwards has a pitch, playing time. And I think Oregon State needs to blend the best of two worlds. I want to see the pitch from Oregon State. I want to see who Jonathan Smith is going after this week. I think that'll tell me a lot about Oregon State next season and the year ahead. Bye week is the one chance that these schools have to really look at high school players. They can't bring a whole bunch of guys on campus during game week because they're prepping for games. They can't do it. But what they can do on the bye week is they can travel the country, they can fly guys into Corvallis, and they can show them off. 4-star guys, 5-star guys. I want to see big names looking at Oregon State this week on their bye. I want to see big names talking about the Beaver facilities, which are underrated. I want to see 4-star and 5-star guys talking about how they can get playing time in Corvallis. I think that's the key for Oregon State. Get your pitch, throw your pitch, and see what happens. Bye week for the Beavs, but there's a whole lot they can work on. We'll talk about that more next hour. I got a full hour still at Abby's, and also talking Ducks. What am I concerned about against Stanford? I'll share that next right here.
At MasterBrand, we don't just make cabinets. We offer opportunities to grow, to learn, and to make a difference in your company, your community, and your world. And you'll be recognized and rewarded for doing it. Our employees are our most important asset, and we provide competitive compensation with $15.45 an hour starting wages and a second shift premium of 80 cents an hour. Our employees receive a comprehensive benefits package, including medical, dental, vision, life, and more, as well as health and retirement savings plans and a stock purchase program to help secure financial protection and peace of mind. When you join MasterBrand, you are part of something bigger. We stay competitive and provide support to keep our employees and their families healthy, physically, emotionally, and financially. MasterBrand builds employee opportunity and reward into everything we do, whether you have experience or you don't. If you are ready to bring your excellent work ethic and begin to making your dreams come true, apply today at masterbrand.com.
Interstate Batteries, the most trusted battery since 1952. Hello, everyone. This is David, the manager from Interstate Batteries in Central Point. Summer is starting, and lake, camping, and traveling is now in effect. I wanted to let you all know that we do free installs on most cars, trucks, SUVs, along with boats, trailers, and motorhomes. We also do free battery checks. Come down and one of my knowledgeable service techs will meet you at your vehicle to test your battery. We check and sell all kinds of batteries. Interstate Batteries is the one store for all your battery needs. From AAA to cell phone, garage doors, and even rechargeable batteries. We carry multiple lines starting from $45. We have 2 locations, one in Central Point on Highway 99 and our other location in Grants Pass at 116 Southwest M Street across from 7-Eleven, right next door to the Solar Man. Come down to either location and get your fast, free battery test. Interstate Batteries, the one store for all your battery needs. Locally owned and operated.
It's me, your heart. High blood pressure is serious, and if you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away, you're wrong. I can quit whenever I want, but I like my job. Just treat me better. Maybe we can do some exercise on occasion? After all, we're in this together.
Don't let your heart quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
This team made a move in March that I hated. They have a bad O-line, and they traded away their second-best offensive lineman to get Olivier Vernon. And Baker yesterday was under constant duress. And Baker's not that athletic, and he's not very big. And the good teams like the Chargers that faced him last year figured him out. Bull rush him, hands up.
Colin Cowherd.
Weekdays at noon on 96.1 580 The Game.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Oregon, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who play high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Oregon School Activities Association and the Oregon Athletic Directors Association.
Stay up late with Amy Lawrence.
New Orleans is buzzing. Whether it's the Big Easy that you call it, the Crescent City, whether you go with NOLA, the city that hosts Mardi Gras, the home of Tulane, whatever it is, now it is Zion's Zoo. And it was a zoo as he was introduced to Pelicans fans and media from all over the region.
11 at night, overnight on 96.1 580 The Game. This is your home for Monday Night Football.
He's out to the numbers, the 40, the 30, down the sideline, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
KTMT 580 AM and K241CA 96.1 FM at
CBS Sports Flash.
I'm Jay Berman. We'll start with football news. Cam Newton did not practice on Wednesday for the Panthers. He, of course, still dealing with the effects of a foot injury. No update on his status for this Sunday for Carolina. Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone said Jalen Ramsey will play Thursday night. That after the two had a verbal confrontation on the sideline this past Sunday. And, of course, the cornerback asked for a trade on Monday. Steelers running back James Conner said he's good to go for Sunday despite suffering a knee injury last week. Browns tight end David Njoku suffered a wrist injury Monday night that could require surgery. Drew Brees had surgery today on his injured thumb, not known how long he'll be out. Cowboys have released former first-round pick Taco Charlton. Pittsburgh area law enforcement looked into an allegation that Antonio Brown committed a sexual assault in June of 2017, but authorities won't prosecute him due to the expiration of the statute of limitations. All right, to the baseball scoreboard we go. Fourth inning in New York. Angels and Yankees are tied at 2. Aaron Judge has a home run. With the win, the Yankees will clinch the AL East. Mariners lead the Pirates 2-0 in the third. Also in the second, Orioles lead the Blue Jays 2-1. The third inning in Boston, Giants lead the Red Sox 3-0. Tigers have a 1-0 lead on the Indians in the third. Also in the second, Braves have a 1-0 lead on the Phillies. First inning in Minnesota, Twins and White Sox are scoreless. Second inning in Milwaukee, Padres and Brewers are scoreless. A final, Cardinals beat the Nationals 5-1. I'm Jay Berman.
This is DA. The NFL season is underway, and we're talking football weekdays, 9 until noon Eastern, 6 until 9 Pacific, right here on CBS Sports Radio.
Keep in touch with your favorite shows. Follow the game on Twitter at 961thegame. Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey, everybody. Matt Bagley back with you. 1080 South Riverside. I want to talk college football tonight. Want to talk Ducks. Want to talk Beavs. Want to talk NFL as well. And high school football. Got a lot to get to. Let's start with Oregon-Stanford, this segment of the hour, live here at Abby's Pizza. Sorry about this, folks. I am battling a cold. Hope it doesn't turn you out too much, but yeah, battling a cold. I'm still having fun out here, though. Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. I think this game highlights a contrast in coaching style. Now, what do I mean by that? Mario Cristobal, head coach of the Ducks, has gone out of his way before. Every time he's asked, and especially this week, every hour of every day, it feels like, gone out of his way to tell you that of all the coaches in the Pac-12, the Pirate in Pullman, Clay Helton at USC, Chip Kelly, the Wizard in Westwood, the coach that he respects the most and fears the most is David Shaw at Stanford. I think we'll see why on Saturday, because this Stanford team is not compelling. The Ducks have a better quarterback. The Ducks have a better offensive line. The Ducks have a better defensive line. The Ducks have a better defense. The Ducks have a better football team. But what the Ducks don't have is David Shaw. He has proven time and time again, and to the chagrin of everyone that says NFL coaches are out of their element in college football. To all the people that said Herm Edwards wouldn't succeed in the desert. I said Herm Edwards wouldn't succeed in the desert. For everybody that had that mindset, because an NFL coach can't win in the college game because it's so radically different from pro football. Just look at David Shaw. NFL guy back in the day, an assistant for John Gruden. Then he was an assistant for Jim Harbaugh. Then he goes to Stanford. And he works under Harbaugh. And then he gets that Stanford head coaching job. And he's, I think, the best coach in the Pac-12. And Mario Cristobal said as much this week with the media. I think the contrast in coaching on Saturday is going to be really key to that game. You know Stanford can't come out and outrun the Ducks. They can't do what they've done in years past. And I think this is another fascinating angle to that Saturday showdown in Palo Alto. How many times in the last 20 years have we said Oregon is a speed team, a finesse team, a spread team, and their opponents want to physical, want to out-muscle them, want to out-tough them, out-fight them. Opponents want to smash them right up the middle like Stanford. How many times have we said that? It feels like every game over 20 years, the Ducks have been the soft, speed, finesse team, and teams like Stanford have been the smash-mouth football team. And it feels like that's totally flipped now. Stanford does not have the muscle to win in the trenches and beat Oregon. They don't have the depth on the D-line. They don't have the experience on the O-line, and they don't have an offense geared towards a physical running game like Oregon has. But what Stanford has is David Shaw, and I think the Cardinal are going to come out and throw the kitchen sink at him. A lot of motion, a lot of misdirection, some trick plays, some plays that will confuse or try to confuse the Duck defense, and then defensively, you send guys from everywhere. You don't rush 4, drop 7, and cross your fingers and hope for the best. You send a linebacker, and you drop a defensive end. You send a safety, and you drop a defensive end. You move guys around. You send pressure from all over the field. I think the Ducks need to embrace everything. Stanford is going to throw everything at them on Saturday, and I think that matchup, David Shaw drawing up tricks versus Mario Cristobal, is really key. For as positive as I've been during the Mario Cristobal tenure, I thought he's come in and he's out-recruited the Pac-12. I thought he has come in and he says the right thing to the media. He says the right thing to me every time I've interviewed him. I've had 2 interviews with Cristobal in my time here in Oregon. Brilliant guy, at least when he talks to me. I come across impressed. But I need to see Mario Cristobal out-coach somebody. I need to see what great play do you draw up on 3rd and 1 to get that yard and move the sticks in a 1-score game late in the 4th. I didn't see enough against Auburn, and I wouldn't see anything against Montana or Nevada. Those games don't matter. Those were wins before the Ducks even stepped out onto the field. What I need to see now from Mario Cristobal is how do you stack up against the best coach in the Pac-12? Can you beat him X's and O's wise? Can you beat him strategically where it counts? That's what I want to see. I don't want to see Mario Cristobal get out-coached, and I fear that might happen on Saturday. I think that's the one chance Stanford has. Athletically, I do not think they match up with the Ducks. Physically, I think Oregon's a better team. Physically, I think Oregon should win. If they run the ball, if they hold on to the ball, no turnovers, they don't have any stupid penalties, and their defense is in the right position to make plays, I think they win that game. But I think coaching is the wild card that can open up all those other avenues. I want to hear from you. 541-630-4792. I also want to see you tonight. I'm at Abby's Pizza tonight, 1080 South Riverside. And maybe pizza's not your thing. They got sandwiches, they got salads, they got beer. Maybe you don't know, hey, there's a lot of great pizza in town, Matt. Why do I need to go to Abby's 1080 South Riverside? Well, I know firsthand they got great pizza. I was here last Wednesday. We're trying to make this a regular happening on Wednesdays. Live broadcast out at Abby's 1080 South Riverside. I had a meat lover special that was dynamite. That was delicious. Loaded up with bacon and sausage and pepperoni, and I loved it. Great pizza. Kept me full for 2 days. I had seconds. I brought it to work. One of those things that sometimes, you ever done this with pizza? You spread it out over the week because you don't want to eat nothing but pizza for 3 days in a row. I ate nothing but Abby's for 3 days in a row because it was so good. I couldn't put it down. Come on down to Abby's Pizza tonight, 4 to 6, 1080 South Riverside. That's Abby's, 1080 South Riverside, south side of town. Come have some pizza, come have some beer, and let's talk some sports. Duck fans, I just told you what I thought about Oregon Stanford. I've got more thoughts coming up soon. Beavs fans, I want to hear what you think the outlook is, what you think a reasonable win total is now that the Beavs finally got a W. We'll talk about that next, and also some high school football. What are you looking forward to this weekend? What are you excited about? I'll pinpoint a game that I've got my eye on next on Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.
Look out at the expo. It's cars, it's trucks, it's the Lithia Used Cars Super Sale. We brought in vehicles from all over the country. Hundreds of cars, trucks, and SUVs are waiting for you at the Jackson County Expo. Exit 33 in Central Point, Thursday through Sunday night. This is the sale of the year. The big one. The sale you can't afford to miss. Over 500 vehicles on 4 acres. Cars starting at $4,777. All types, all brands, all prices at the Jackson Jackson County Expo this Thursday through Sunday only. The Expo sale is back, but only for a limited time. Hurry in today for the best selection. The Lithia Used Car Super Sale this Thursday through Sunday at the Jackson County Expo at Exit 33 and Central Point. And Sunday night. Don't miss it.
Representantes de habla hispana en el sitio.
2009 Chevy Cobalt, stock number 97212-120V, sale price $47.77. One available at this price, plus license and title and $115 registration processing fee. Offer ends 9/30/19.
Rogue Automotive in Medford has immediate openings for qualified automotive technicians to join their team. This is a great job with a locally owned company and includes health insurance, paid vacations, and more. To apply, stop by the office at 828 North Central, weekdays between 7 and 6, or call 541-245-1740. That's 541-245-1740. Stop by 828 North Central and apply today.
There's only one Jim Rome.
Is there anybody anywhere who actually believed that this was not going to happen? Did anybody really buy the idea that the Cowboys were not going to sign Elliott? Did anybody really think that the deals for Smith, Collins, and Lawrence meant that Elliott was not going to get his? Hell no. We all knew it, and most of all, Elliott knew it.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. to noon on 96.1 580 The Game.
Sometimes, when a problem needs our attention, we get a warning. Would you recognize the signal if your heart was sending you an alert? I'm Marcy, and I have atrial fibrillation. That means I'm at 5 times greater risk for stroke. Some people don't even know they have AFib until they have a stroke. Talk to your doctor about your risk for AFib and stroke. Treatment saves lives.
Visit heart.org/AFib awareness. Brought to you by the American Heart Association.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Aaron's going to have to change his game a little bit, because when you have a defense as good as Green Bay, and it's mostly young, and it's mostly guys going into their prime or in their prime, you don't have to play hero ball. There's going to be multiple weeks this year that Aaron can play. Hand it off, don't get hit, be smart, let the ball go early, get it out of your hand.
Colin Cowherd.
Weekdays at noon on 96.1 580 The Game.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out here to Abby's 1080 South Riverside in Medford. That's where I'm broadcasting live, local, remote broadcast to Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW. Right here at Abby's tonight, 1080 South Riverside. Let's talk Ducks, let's talk Beavs, let's talk NFL, high school football, and more. And let's have some pizza. Delicious pizza out here at Abby's. I had the Meat Lovers last week. I think I might go for their seasonal special, which is the half pepperoni, half Hawaiian. Right? Because now I know there are some heathens out there, they don't want pineapple on pizza. I like pineapple on pizza, and I think that it creates a dilemma because Hawaiian pizza is so good. So is pepperoni. The two best kinds of pizza, well, they put them together. Half pepperoni, half Hawaiian. 100% delicious here at Abby's, 1080 South Riverside. I want to talk about tanking in the NFL, and I want to talk about high school football as well. Let's start with the pros. The Dolphins are tanking. They traded Minka Fitzpatrick this week. They traded Laramie Tunsil at the beginning of the year. They're getting drilled by teams, and they might go 0-16. And clearly, the Dolphins are doing this with a player in mind. Now, the report last year was that they wanted Tua Tagovailoa, but Tua wasn't draft eligible. He's draft eligible now. And so, are they tanking for Tua? Maybe. But I think that they might end up tanking for Justin Herbert. And here's why. I think Tua is the better passer of the football. Accuracy numbers, moves through his progressions, big game performances, winning a national title, almost winning another national title, just getting Alabama to a second national title game in his tenure. That's impressive. But I think Justin Herbert looks the part. NFL teams are notorious for this, and it's really been an exception to the rule the last couple of years, but they want their first-round pick to be flawless because that first-round pick is a statement to the rest of the country. It's a statement to their fan base. It's a statement to the league of this is who represents us perfectly. A guy that fits their scheme, a guy that gets along with their locker room, a guy that gets along with their front office, and a guy that just has the measurables. And Tua doesn't have the measurables. 6'2", 6'3". Was not going to have the game reps either. 2 seasons as a starter when it's all said and done, but he got hurt along the way, might get hurt this year. You know, jury's still out on whether Tua can be a full season starter the rest of the way. And when you factor all that in, I think Justin Herbert might be the guy. He's big, 6'6", cannon of an arm, has the arm talent to make every throw. He's shown that on nationally televised broadcasts. He's shown that in front of scouts. I think the Dolphins are tanking for Justin Herbert. I want to hear from you, 541-630-4792. Excited to see that unfold. Also, I want to ask you, your area of concern for the Ducks as they head into a big game against Stanford. 541-630-4792. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you stand. 541-630-4792. Where does Stanford concern you, if at all? I think this game really comes down to coaching and comes down to Stanford's ability to mitigate their injuries and comes down to Oregon's ability to play up a level. I think this is another angle. This is something that obviously they couldn't do anything about this year, but you got to slap Rob Mullins and tell him, stop scheduling these cupcake games. I think the Ducks are going to run into some trouble, perhaps not for the full 4 quarters, probably in the first half, because they took 2 weeks off. And you might laugh at that and say, Matt, they just whooped on Montana. That's what I mean. Matt, they just beat Nevada. That's what I mean. They took 2 weeks off. Those games were won before the Ducks even stepped the field. Now you go against a Pac-12 foe and real serious competition, and I think this is an opportunity for Stanford to take advantage. Because if you can say one thing about their schedule so far, they haven't played any cupcakes. Northwestern's a Power 5 school. USC is a Pac-12 school. UCF, close to a Power 5. They're probably the best group of 5 in the country. 3 quality games for Stanford, 2 tough losses. I think that level of competition shows up in the first half of that game and could set the Ducks in the wrong direction. I want to hear from you. Text 541-630-4792, or like I said right at the start of the show, come on down to Abby's, 1080 South Riverside in Medford. Come on down, have some pizza, have some slices. Let's talk local sports. Have a good night out here, talking college football, talking NFL. This is the first of 4 decisive games for the Ducks this year. And I'll hit that point a little bit more later. I also want to look at the NFL and this idea that I hinted at on Twitter earlier this week. A crucial week for general managers, head coaches, for locker rooms in the NFL, because you're starting to see the game of attrition really unfold in pro football. What do I mean by that? Players play, players get hurt, and players get replaced. And right now at the quarterback position, we're seeing a lot of that attrition. Cam Newton might be injured. I don't think he's going to play on Sunday. And then you look at the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger out for the year. You look at the Saints with Drew Brees. He's going to miss some serious playing time. Might be on IR when it's all said and done. I think that this is quarterback chaos week in the NFL. And you have to throw some predictions out, and you have to put some teams on the wayside. I don't like the Steelers going forward without Roethlisberger. They believe in Mason Rudolph. I don't. He's an unknown. He's a nobody. And I think you have to refit your entire offense and retool your entire offense without him. And I think that Mike Tomlin is now fully exposed without him and a little overrated without him. I do not like the Steelers going forward. I do not like the Panthers without Cam Newton. They have tailored everything to Cam for years. I think that falls apart without him. But I really like the Saints without Teddy Bridgewater. And I'll tell you why. I'm partially biased because I'm an Oakland Raider fan. And I've always said, I tell people, hey, I'm a Raider fan. I let people know I'm a Raider fan. I fully concede that I root for a certain team, and I care about that team, and that clouds my judgment when I view the rest of the league. But with regards to Teddy Bridgewater, I saw him own my Raiders. It was his second year in the league. It was a must-win road game in a hostile crowd, and Teddy Bridgewater came out and scrambled free from pressure and avoided sacks, avoided bad plays, found his man, read through his progressions, made the right throw, made the right play. And when it was all said and done, Teddy Bridgewater and the Vikings ran out of Oakland with a rout. They dominated that game. And that was a good Raider team. That was a Raider team that was 1 or 2 wins away from making the playoffs that year. One of the rare, decent seasons that Raiders have had in my lifetime. So I thought that was a quality win by Bridgewater, and that showed me a lot about Bridgewater. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm, and he's not like Peyton Manning barking out all the audibles and coming up with the greatest offense in the world at the line of scrimmage. What makes Teddy Bridgewater special is he's kind of got some Ben Roethlisberger in him or some Cam Newton in him. He just finds ways to stay alive and make plays. And I think that shows up for the Saints on Sunday. Now, he got blown out last week. I don't put a lot of stock into that. I think the reason the Saints lost that game with him is they didn't game plan with him. They couldn't game plan with him. They had Drew Brees, and Drew Brees got injured. So that game was done the minute Brees was out. Nothing on Bridgewater. I think Teddy Bridgewater and the Saints are going to be just fine without Brees. I expect them to go 500 or better without Brees, and I expect the Saints to be just fine and in contention for the playoffs going forward. I want to hear from you. 541-630-4792. Let me know what you think. Let me know what teams you're excited about, teams you're rooting for going forward, and storylines in the NFL that you think are notable in the days ahead. We got a great slate of NFL games coming up on Sunday right here on the Games. Seahawks football at 11, Sunday Night Football at 5. Oregon State is on a bye this week, so we've got Auburn, Texas A&M, college football coming up on Saturday. We've got Ducks, Oregon, Stanford on our sister station, News Media 880, and a pair of great high school football games on Friday night. I can't wait to get into that. I'm going to go to Bend. I'm going to watch North Medford, and I think the Black Tornado are going to put on a show. But that's just one of several games I want to talk about next. And also, let's talk about some what-ifs, some alternate realities, and a college football program breathing a sigh of relief after fate gave them a rough hand. We'll talk about all that and more coming up. Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW, live at Abby's Pizza tonight. Come out and join me, have a slice, have some beer, right here, 1080 South Riverside. Abby's Pizza, home of Southern Oregon Sports Talk on 96.1, 580 The Game.
Needing soil for your organic garden? Rockin' Soil has been making superior potting soil since 2010, and their potting soils are now OMRI listed. They also have OMRI-aged composted sawdust and compost. You can find your custom soil mix, down-to-earth amendments, premium worm castings, sun-grow products in bulk, as well as garden, greenhouse, harvest, irrigation, and landscape supply at Rockin' Soil. They also carry ARS, Fiskars, seeds, smart pots, and fence boards. Needing DG, drain, driveway, granite, gravel, river, sand, or shale rock? In need of a culvert or road fabric? Rockin' Soil is the spot to shop. Their truck fleet has dump trucks to deliver up to 40 yards at a time. You can even buy Rockin' Soil merchandise in the shop. Family owned and operated in Cave Junction, Rockin' Soil is who to call for rock and soil and a quick turnaround. Their number is 541-592-5395. Visit rockandsoiloregon.com and Facebook/Rockin' Soil Oregon for sales and specials. That's rock, the letter N, Soil Oregon. Be green, one toter truck at a time.
Wow, the prices on these costumes are really low.
That's because Magic Man has all their costumes on sale in September, even the discounted red tag costumes. We could shop early and save a ton, up to 70%.
Save up to 70%? Why, that's like stealing.
It is. And look at all the other stuff on sale around the store. Are they kidding? It looks like everything is on sale.
Another amazing manager's sale with lots of values store-wide. We might save enough on costumes to get something great from the smoke shop.
Lots on sale there, too. I don't see why not.
Yes, you could slip into the ethereal realm known as the Magic Man, where your wife is completely agreeable and your husband is excited for once.
Wow, these newer stores are nice. Look, they even expanded the adult area.
Don't get any ideas.
Well, almost completely agreeable.
Join Magic Man's costume blowout at these fine locations: on Biddle Road at the Bear Creek Plaza, Medford, on Redwood Avenue at Three Rivers Plaza in West Grants Pass, and at the Town Center Plaza on G Street in downtown Grants Pass.
Magic Man's costume blowout is blowing our minds.
We love our sports here in the Rogue Valley.
And it's our responsibility to keep them great.
And we need you to know your role.
You can be a player.
You can be a coach.
You can be a spectator.
Or an official.
But you only get to be one. Know your role.
Parents, release your kid to the game.
It's my experience.
Don't yell at the refs. They have a hard job.
Know your role.
Players, respect your opponents.
Love to play, win or lose.
Your home for the North Medford Black Tornado.
Pugliano gets the snap. Cassette with the kick. The ball crosses the bar right through the uprights.
From summer camp to the state championship.
Stoltz, three-step drop. Floats down the left sideline. Caught. 30, 25, 20. Open crease to the sideline. 10. Touchdown, North Medford.
Friday night, North Medford visits Bend on 96.1 580 The Game. Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey everybody, Matt Bagley back with you. Southern Oregon Sports Talk presented by Medford BMW. I said earlier, I think this is the first of 4 decisive games for Oregon this season. I'm going to talk about why. I'm going to talk about what I mean by that a little bit later. Right here, live at Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW. I'm also really excited about the high school football games on slate Friday night. I want to talk about that, and I want to spend some time on the NFL. I have a couple of people swooping by here at Abby's, having some pizza, having some pints, having a good time. Mort was asking me what I thought about the Raiders. And that floors me because it's a team near and dear to my heart. I tell you all the time, I'm a Raider fan. A team that has $100 million invested in a head coach and has $100 million invested in a franchise quarterback and went on Hard Knocks and wanted to show off the star power and tell you they're back and they're ready and they're just set up to dominate the NFL this year. And a team that, with all that said, got blown out at home in their home opener and had blown coverages and bad plays defensively. And I just wonder, at what point do the Raiders move on from John Gruden? I expect more from a guy making 10-year contract, $100 million. I expect more from a guy who has all the attention, all the cameras thrust on him. I want to see how long this experiment goes on. 1-1, and I think it gets really tough this week when they go to Minnesota. The other game that stands out to me from a prove-it perspective or a question mark perspective for me, I want to see how long Adam Gase has run with the Jets. And I know they're down to their third-string quarterback now. I know that's a much tougher perspective every NFL team believes that they can win in a given week. I know it's really tough when you're down to Luke Falk as your third-string QB, but I wonder with the Jets, you spend big money on Le'Veon Bell, you spend big money on C.J. Mosley and building that defense, and that defense got torched on Monday Night Football. And as good as Le'Veon Bell is, they didn't use him enough. They didn't go to him enough Monday Night Football in that loss to Cleveland. I wonder how long of a leash does Adam Gase get, and when does the criticism start to pile up for him in New York? Jets winless, and they look toothless on Monday night. I wonder what you think. 541-630-4792. Text me, let me know. Or come on down here to Abby's. Ask me a question. Let me know what you think. Talking Oregon State, talking Ducks, talking high school football. Let's talk college football as well. This is something that I hit on a little bit earlier. Pitches and what Oregon State can learn from other schools. I look at this. Herm Edwards, a week after stunning the world in East Lansing, beating Michigan State, beating a ranked opponent, Herm Edwards is the darling of the world right now. A radio station up in Portland reached out to Arizona State and said, hey, could we interview Herm? And they said no. And then they followed up with a question because they just wanted to know, how many times has Herm Edwards been asked to do an interview this week? Herm Edwards has 71 interview requests this week. That's off the chain. That's insane. What that tells me is that the world is focusing on Herm Edwards. And the reason why is the world got Herm Edwards totally wrong. And now we make amends for it. Now we look and see what Arizona State is doing right. Unbeaten team, beaten up on a top 25 foe. You look at what Arizona State has built. They play more freshmen than anyone else in the Pac-12. They have a true freshman QB. They have a coach coming in from the NFL with new ideas. The pitch at Arizona State is playing time and preparation for the NFL. And I think that's something that the Ducks can look at. I think that's something that the Beavs can look at. I've said this with Oregon State for 2 years. I like Jonathan Smith. He's a good guy. I would have gone in a different direction with that hire. And I'm not saying you fire him. I'm not saying you blow up the building now. But I think with Jonathan Smith, you need someone in that building that gets to him and says, you're going to get these 4 stars into Corvallis. You're going to make the effort to go to L.A. You're going to make the effort to go to Florida, go to Texas, travel the country, meet with players, and you're going to pitch them that the difference at Oregon State is playing time. You're going to pitch them that the difference at Oregon State is progression to the NFL, that you can be the next Chad Johnson, that you can be the next Matt Moore, that you can be the next Steven Jackson, and you can have an NFL career. Right now, that's what Herm Edwards is building at Arizona State. I think every team in the Pac-12 can learn from that, especially Oregon State. Some food for thought on the Beaver bye. Excited for high school football. Coming up on Friday night, North Medford at Bend. We're going to air that game right here on the game. I can't wait to see it. You've got a North Medford team that the biggest change for me from last year to this year, and I say this as somebody that I'm pretty fond of that coaching staff. I've sang their praises before. I have told you before that I knew the head coach of North Medford from when he was coaching at another school in Oregon, and I saw his offense up close. I thought North Medford was very simple in their play calling last year. 4 plays, maybe 5 plays, and that was it. And they didn't throw too much, and the reason being is you keep things simple for your players, your young team, your high school team, and you hope that they play clean, turnover-free football. They did that last year, and now they get to build on that this year. We've seen an offense open up and play way more aggressive and way more open and free and loose than I've seen from North Medford in a long time, and I think it'll pay dividends Friday night against Bend. You've got a team that now, when you stop their first option, they've got a second option. When you stop their second, they've got a third. They've got a fourth. They've got a whole playbook full of runs and passes and great plays to move the ball. And I think that is going to be a really fascinating game on Friday night. See how much they open up, how much they keep their foot on the gas pedal, and see what they can do against a Bend team right now that is reeling. South Medford at Liberty. Got to talk about this too, and then we'll move back on to pro football, college, and more. This is a revenge game for South Medford. This is an opportunity for a Panther team that went up to Hillsborough last year and got spanked by Liberty. And I saw it firsthand. A team that ran the ball really well, threw the ball really well, forced turnovers, got sacks. Everything went Liberty's way in that game. But they had a lot of seniors play in that game. And now they turn over a lot of new faces. This is a chance for South Medford to refocus. Narrow win last Friday night. A little sloppy in the second half. An opportunity for the players to prove themselves to that coaching staff that's drilled them and really worked to refine them this week after that tough win. An opportunity for South Medford as well to make a statement to the state, because if you look at the polls, nobody's voting for them. They went to the state title game 2 years ago. They went deep in their conference and could have gone on a nice playoff run last year. Ultimately, it didn't matter. And now you have a team that if they start 3-0 and if they take care of business against a good team from the Portland area with some real talent on display, a team that can garner some votes in the state, garner some reputation in the state, and move up the ladder as we head into the league schedule. I think this is a pivotal week of high school football for North Medford and South Medford. Crater Thurston as well. I can't wait for that game. Probably the game of the state, and a game that early in the year, you've got number one Thurston, you've got a top 10 Crater team, and you have the kind of game that is a barometer. How many teams can realistically compete for a state title? Some years it's only one or two. Some years it's a lot. This is a barometer game. This is a chance to find out, okay, just how deep is Oregon this year in high school football? How talented are Crater? How capable are they? I think we find that out when they host Thurston Friday night. Can't wait for that game. That's going to be a lot of fun. Talking Ducks, talking Beavs. I've asked you for your memories, your moments, your concerns about Oregon-Stanford. Justin Hopkins, friend of the station, we tape a podcast together every Wednesday, Scoop Duck and Hi-Fi. We talked about this on his podcast today. How crazy is it that in 2019, Oregon is playing Stanford, and Oregon is the more physical team. Oregon is the more old-school, conventional team, smash-mouth football kind of team, and Stanford isn't. And Stanford doesn't have the bodies on the interior. Stanford doesn't have the talent to play a smash-mouth running game on Saturday. How crazy is that? Has that ever happened between these schools? And I get that Stanford was in the toilet for 20 years, but it feels like the MO for the Cardinal, ever since I was a little kid, has been play-action pass, smash-mouth football, I formation, running the football. And with Oregon, it's been the opposite. They spread it out. They play finesse. They play speed. And now you've got Mario Cristobal, and you've got this offensive line, and you've got C.J. Verdell, who I think is poised for a huge game on Saturday, and you've got a quarterback in Justin Herbert that thrives against a defense having to contain the play action. This is a smash-mouth football team, and it's a complete flip of what we've seen from the Ducks in years past, and I just can't wait to see it all unfold on Saturday. I want to hear from you, 541-630-4792. Things you're concerned about, things you're optimistic about, and things that blow your mind about Oregon-Stanford, like the fact that stylistically they've completely flipped poles. I want to talk NFL. You know I can't make it through 2 hours tonight without getting into the craziest story in the NFL this week. And it involves a very, very, very conflicting player. You either love him, you hate him, you don't respect him. It involves the Hall of Fame, and it involves a draft pick that blew all of our minds when they made it. We'll talk about Daniel Jones, Eli Manning, and the future of quarterback next on Southern Oregon Sports Talk, live from Abby's tonight. Still got some time. Come out. I've seen a few of you swoop on by 1080 South Riverside, grab a pint, grab some pizza, have a good night out here at Abby's, 1080 South Riverside. Still some time. If you're thinking about dinner, this is a great place to go tonight. 1080 South Riverside, South Medford Abby's. I'm here till 6. I'm going to wrap up with a look at the NFL. Daniel Jones drew laughter on my draft party when the Giants made him a top 10 pick this year. But I think this week they get a chance to prove everybody wrong. And I think Eli Manning gets a chance to punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame. I'll talk about that next on Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580, The Game.
Do you have missing, failing, hurting, or broken teeth? Premier Care Dental is here for you with caring, professional dental care. We accept most dental insurance plans, and our new patients without dental insurance receive a free exam and x-rays and a choice of a crown for $690 or an implant for $890. For continued savings throughout the year, ask about our in-house dental savings plan.
My initial visit to Premier Care Dental was prompted from a radio commercial, and I went in for a free checkup. I was very impressed with the entire operation at Premier Care Dental. They are the best. Over the course of the last couple years, I've had crowns, implants, and regular maintenance utilizing their in-house dental savings plan. I highly recommend them.
Thank you, Jim. We love hearing from our patients. Call Premier Care Dental at 541-476-4583 for an appointment in Grants Pass, Ashland, Medford, or Klamath Falls. That's 541-476-4583. If you call today during normal office hours, we will see you today. Guaranteed. Visit PremierCareDentalCenters.com.
At Master Brand, we don't just make cabinets. We offer opportunities to grow, to learn, and to make a difference in your company, your community, and your world. And you'll be recognized and rewarded for doing it. Our employees are our most important asset, and we provide competitive compensation with $15.45 an hour starting wages and a second shift premium of 80 cents an hour. Our employees receive a comprehensive benefits package, including medical, dental, vision, life, and more, as well as health and retirement savings plans and a stock purchase program to help secure financial protection and peace of mind. When you join Master Brand, you are part of something bigger. We stay competitive and provide support to keep our employees and their families healthy, physically, emotionally, and financially. Master Brand builds employee opportunity and reward into everything we do, whether you have experience or you don't. If you are ready to bring your excellent work ethic and begin to making your dreams come true, apply today at masterbrand.com.
Great Scott! Do you know what this means? Rogue Credit Union is back with a future of 4 months, no payments.
Yeah, and when you switch your existing auto, boat, or RV loan to Rogue, you can enjoy no loan payments until 2020. And your kids are gonna love freeing up extra holiday cash. You can also catch up on bills.
You won't need a time machine to find auto rates as low as 2.74%.
Stop by a branch, go online, or give us a call now to make the switch to Rogue. No payments due for the first 120 days for qualifying borrowers and collateral. Interest still accrues during this time. Existing Rogue loans are subject to a refinance fee and do not qualify for the 120-day no payment offer. APR ranges from 2.74 to 17.99% based on creditworthiness. Payment example of $14.31 per $1,000 financed to 4.99% for 84 months. Subject to credit and collateral qualifications. Some exclusions apply. Membership required. Loan processing fees and type fees may apply. Offer ends November 6, 2019.
We're back with a future of 4 months, no payments from Rogue Credit Union.
Stop by a branch, go online, or give us a call to get started today.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580, The Game.
Wrapping up the show, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW, live at Abby's tonight. I'm thankful for everybody that came out, everybody that waved hello and got a beer and got some slices and talked some sports with me tonight right here on the radio, 1080 South Riverside. I'm gone at 6, but you can come by here at Abby's till they close tonight. Great food, pizza, salad, sandwiches, and I like the spuds last week. Those were awesome. Have a little bit of that. Has some taps as well. My personal favorite, hop Valley Bubble Stash on tap here at Abby's. Great food, great fun. 1080 South Riverside. I think the Giants were calculated in the week they picked to start Daniel Jones over Eli Manning. What do I mean by that? If you wait 4 more weeks and Eli gets blown out and Eli throws for 300 yards in a losing effort, all of a sudden Eli Manning ends his Giants career under 500. I think the Giants made it a point. You bench Eli now, he's at 500, and I think he's just on the edge of Hall of Fame contention. I think he gets into Canton, and I'll tell you why. 500 as a quarterback, that's not great. Was never a top 5 QB, was never a must-draft guy in fantasy football or a must-bet guy like Peyton Manning was for the Colts or like Tom Brady has been for the Patriots for so many years. But what Eli is something I talked about at the very start of the show with my concern about Oregon and Stanford. Eli is clutch. Eli is the guy that he's never going to be an MVP, never going to be the best quarterback in the regular season, might not throw 300 yards every game, but you get him in the playoffs. Wild card round, upsets, divisional round upsets, conference championship upsets, and we saw what he did against arguably the greatest Super Bowl team ever. He beat them, and he beat them handily, and the Giants have 2 Super Bowls because of it. Eli Manning is clutch in big games, and I think that's good enough for him to get into the Hall of Fame. I think the other angle there, you look at whether or not Eli Manning has enough of a pedigree to get in. People will say, well, he's got 2 Super Bowls, so does Jim Plunkett, and Jim Plunkett's not in. And I would agree with that. I would say, hey, that's fair. If Manning doesn't get in, it's because Plunkett isn't in. But I think that Plunkett should be in, and so Manning should be in as well. I think if you win 2 Super Bowls, because just face it, Trent Dilfer can win 1 Super Bowl. Jim McMahon can win 1 Super Bowl. A lot of quarterbacks have won Super Bowls. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. Brock Osweiler has a ring from helping the Broncos win a bunch of games, and a elderly Peyton Manning, who was benched for half the year, helped the Broncos win a Super Bowl as well. A lot of bad quarterbacks have won Super Bowls. No bad quarterbacks have won 2 Super Bowls. I think if you win 2, you should wear that gold jacket, and I think Eli is going to be a Hall of Famer. And I also think the Daniel Jones decision, I'm eating a lot of crow because I remember we did a draft party at Tap City Beverage, Biddle and McAndrews. We might do one again next NFL draft, next April. That night, my analysts and I were stunned when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones. We couldn't believe that pick to save our lives. We couldn't understand why when you need talent everywhere across the board. You need offensive line help. You need defensive line help. You need corners. You need a new wide receiver because you just traded your star to Cleveland, and you need to put talent around your star running back. Why on earth you draft Eli's successor, and why on earth you reach for a kid nobody knew, Daniel Jones? And I think now we're starting to see why. Preseason, here's a guy that you just watch his eyes. You watch his head move around. You watch him read progressions. You watch him with his cannon of an arm fit the ball into tight windows. And now you see him week 3 in the NFL. And some might say they saved him for week 3. Again, I think it was a calculated decision to start Daniel Jones. But I don't think they waited to play him against a soft defense. I've heard that theorized. I've heard that rumored. This Bucs defense is loaded. They were tough on San Francisco week 1. They were tough on the Panthers week 2. This is a tough defense that Daniel Jones is facing week 3. And it's a testament to his ability. The Giants think they can win with Daniel Jones. I think they can win with Daniel Jones. And I'm really excited to see what he does going forward. Oregon State, they're on a bye. Wrapping up, just a recap there of my thoughts. They beat Cal Poly, now what? I want to see a team that that comes out and knows now who they are. It's not enough for the Bees to spread it out, throw some screen passes, be cute on defense with the blitzes, and playing a lot of zone coverages. I think Oregon State just needs to come out, run the ball, control the clock, get a healthy Jermar Jefferson, and that's a question mark. We didn't really see him last weekend, but a healthy Jermar Jefferson. You get Jake Luton on the play action, you play smash mouth football, and when you play Stanford 2 weeks from now against a Stanford team that is not favored against Oregon, a Stanford team that has a weaker line, a banged-up defense, a lot of holes and question marks against the rest of the Pac-12, I think Oregon State, if they come out, they know who they are, and they play within themselves, I think the Beavers can get an upset 2 weeks from now. But it starts right now, bye-week preparation. And for Oregon, the season starts right now. I hit on this when they lost to Auburn. The Monday after that loss, I came back on the radio and I said, guys, they're not going to the playoff. They are not going to contend for a national title. Duck fans have to move beyond that. They have to put that out of their picture, and they have to think a winning season is the Pac-12. It's still attainable. It's still possible, but it starts on Saturday. 4 decisive games. If the Ducks lose any of these games, Pac-12 is out of the question. They cannot lose to Stanford. I know they are banged up. I know they are weak. David Shaw is the best coach in the Pac-12. They have to respect Stanford. They have to grind Stanford. They got to beat Stanford. Then it's Washington. Then it's Washington State. Then it's Utah. I was really disappointed with USC, by the way. I had USC on that list, but I did not like what I saw Saturday against BYU. No reason USC should ever lose that game to BYU. Embarrassing for the Pac-12 that they lose that game. But it sets up 4 crucial games for Oregon. Stanford, Washington, Wazoo, and Utah in a Pac-12 title game if they get to that game. And I think the first of those 4 games goes in the Ducks' favor. I think they get a win on Saturday. We'll talk about how that happens a little bit more on tomorrow's show. But I think that's something the Ducks really need to harp on this week. And wrapping up, one last thing. I mentioned this earlier. The player that I'm most excited to look for, most excited to watch on Saturday when Oregon goes to Palo Alto. Not Justin Herbert. Not Jawan Johnson, even. And you could make an argument that it would be the mystery ghost at wideout that we haven't seen so far this year. I want to see CJ Verdell on Saturday. Here's a guy that had some fumbles, had some issues, cost the Ducks a game, you could argue, last year against Stanford, and has been banged up a little bit, dealing with injuries, hasn't got the touches that he might have wanted in this season so far. A guy that I think the Ducks can focus on this weekend. And if he plays turnover-free, and if he plays with some good vision, some good burst coming out of the hole, picking up on his blocks, I think C.J. Verdell could have a big day in the Oregon running game. Big day for Oregon on Saturday. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. I've got a 1-hour show, then Thursday Night Football, and then I'm done for the week. I get to go to Bend on Friday, get to watch North Medford put a whooping on that team in Bend. I can't wait for that. And you know what I can't wait for as well? I can't wait for Willie Taggart to lose his job. I'll talk about why that's on the forefront, why that's coming up soon, and what I think the Ducks got right and where I think they learned from that Willie Taggart situation. That's next right here, Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW at Abby's Pizza, 1080 South Riverside. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Have a couple people buy pizzas tonight, a couple people walk in, wave hello, and listen to some live local sports talk right here on the radio. Thanks for coming out, everybody, and we'll try to do this again next Wednesday. Have some pizza, talk some sports. Southern Oregon Sports Talk.